More medals for Team GB in Rio after Adam Peaty leads the way.
Absolutely fantastic. Adam Peaty takes Olympic gold for Great Britain by an absolute street.
His victory ended a 28-year wait for a British man to triumph in the pool and set a new world record.
So surreal, it's incredible. I can't actually believe it's happened. I'm going to have to slap myself, I think, a few times.
Daly and Goodfellow, last one.
Tonight it's Tom Daley and Dan Goodfellow's turn to celebrate their synchronised diving bronze, taking the British tally so far to 4 medals. And with the focus now on the men's gymnastics, we'll have the latest live from Rio. Also on the programme, the pictures that prove British special forces are on the ground inside Syria, supporting rebels fighting against IS. A court ruling that could boost Jeremy Corbyn as he faces Owen Smith in the Labour leadership contest. And hinting at what was once unthinkable, Japan's Emperor Akihito suggests that he may want to retire.
Rail commuters, the longest British rail strike for almost 50 years. And on the water, one of the best-loved sailing regattas, Cows Week, gets into full swing.
Good evening. For nearly 30 years, no British man had won gold in an Olympic pool until Adam Peaty came along. The 21-year-old from Uttoxeter smashed his own world record to win the 100-metre breaststroke in the early hours of this morning. It was Team GB's first medal, followed within minutes by a silver from his teammate Jazz Carlin. Our sports editor Dan Rowan has our first report from Rio.
As a boy, Adam Peaty was afraid of the water. He certainly conquered that fear. No one in history has ever swum faster, not in the 100 metres breaststroke. As he closed in on Olympic glory, the battle was not with his rivals, but against the clock.
Absolutely phenomenal from Great.
That gold line represents Peaty's own world record. Like his opponents, it didn't stand a chance.
He's bringing it home, and this is utterly brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Adam Peaty takes Olympic gold for Great Britain by an absolute street. A wonderful world record. The time.
History will show Peaty won in 57.13 seconds. In fact, it's a triumph that's taken much longer than that.
It's so surreal to get the Team GB's first goal, but no, this is a product of 7 years of work, like I've said the other day, and I came out tonight, take that first 50 easy and then come back with everything I've got. I mean, it's just not everything, it's everything that's got you down these past few years, and more importantly, I did it for my country because that means so much to me.
Back home, it may have been the early hours, but this was a moment not to be missed. Not at Peaty's swimming club in Derbyshire, and certainly not here in Uttoxeter, where from her living room, Mavis Williams urged her grandson on.
Yes!
Back in Rio today, Peaty's parents left to wonder at how much their boy had grown up.
I think it really came to me when he was on the podium and the national anthem was played. That really brought tears to my eyes. I'm thinking, oh my God, listen, my son's up there. You know, because we have watched the Olympics before and never really imagined it, even though I know that, you know, this was his dream. I knew he would achieve it at some point, but not this soon.
This was the last time a British man won an Olympic swimming gold, Adrian Morehouse, 28 years ago. Today he told me that Peaty was in a class of his own.
To be that much ahead, what it means is he's got everything right. You know, you search for the perfect swim. I swam international for 15 years and I think I did it twice. Like the perfect swim, the perfect race, and what he did last night was he strung it all together.
In just the second day of competition, Team GB managed what proved beyond them at London 2012, a gold medal in the pool. Adam Peaty's astonishing performance here last night, establishing him as one of his country's top sports stars, and the success didn't end there. Just minutes after Peaty claimed his country's first medal of these games came a second. Denied her chance to compete in 2012 because of illness, Jazz Carlin winning silver in the 400 metres freestyle final.
Obviously I was sat in the core room watching Adam break the world record and win the gold, and that was a pretty special feeling. I had goosebumps before I swam, so I knew I had to kind of try to stay relaxed and stay calm before the race, but to come away with this all, I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I can't believe the time as well. I'm so happy.
Meanwhile, the most decorated Olympian of them all, Michael Phelps, was at it again, winning his 19th gold medal after helping the United States clinch the men's 4x100 metre freestyle relay. But it was the one that Adam Peaty held that set swimming alight and ignited Britain's medal charge at these games. Dan Rowan, BBC News, Rio.
In the last hour, Tom Daley and his synchronised diving partner Dan Goodfellow have been competing in the men's 10-metre platform event, winning the bronze. It was the 4th British medal of the Games, coming soon after Ed Ling took a bronze in the trap shooting. Here's Andy Swiss.
He's the farmer from Somerset, taking on the best in the world. Ed Ling, his 3rd Olympics, but his first major impact. After losing his semi-final, a shoot-off for bronze, and he took his chance with both hands. The 33-year-old, who's coached by his dad, will now head home to oversee the harvest, but for now he can celebrate the moment of his career.
And there are more hopes of British success here in the diving. One of the stars of London 2012, Tom Daley, looking to add another medal to his collection.
Daley was competing in the synchronised event with Dan Goodfellow. With one dive left in bronze medal spot, their rivals could only look on as they counted down for glory.
1, 2, 3, go.
It was good, but would it be good enough? An agonising wait for the judges before finally. That's what it meant. Another medal, another celebration, another moment for Daley to treasure.
We're over the moon, and I kind of pounced on Dan at the end, and I didn't realise that we were going backwards until we were in the water.
Oh, I just went with it. I was just like, I don't care anymore.
After individual bronze in London then, another bronze for Daley alongside the 19-year-old Goodfellow. They only started training less than a year ago, but already Olympic medalists. Andy Swiss, BBC News, Rio.
Well, this evening, Team GB's men gymnasts are in action in the all-round team gymnastics final. 4 years ago in London, they won a bronze, and Natalie Perks has been watching them in Rio's Olympic arena. She just sent this report.
If bronze in London was a watershed moment for British gymnastics, its rise since has been stratospheric. Strictly Come Dancing winner Lewis Smith is the elder statesman of this talented team. And in Max Whitlock, they possess Britain's first ever gymnastics world champion. No longer plucky contenders, this team is world class.
But after winning silver in this event at last year's World Championships, this team is facing something it's never experienced at an Olympic Games before: expectation.
Bryn Bevan, remarkably competing here just months after a double leg break, got Britain off to a good start on the rings. The team in 4th place going into the second piece of apparatus. The higher the difficulty, the better the score. But only if you nail your landing. Max Whitlock slightly out of alignment on the vault. But Christian Thomas's execution was superb, and the team knew it. Britain jumping up into the bronze medal position after 2 rotations. But European champions Russia were the ones to watch, with Japan and Britain left trailing in their wake. Past the halfway stage, Britain were a picture of concentration, knowing they were in touch of a medal. Niall Wilson's high bar routine was high in difficulty and beautifully executed, the perfect dismount prompting screams of joy. So Britain was still looking good for a medal, with their best piece of apparatus to come.
Well, Britain are still in that bronze medal position after 5 rotations. As I said, they're now on to their final bit of kit. That's the pommel horse. That is their best one. Max Whitlock is the world champion. Lewis Smith is the silver medalist from the world. So if both of them nail their routines, Britain should win a medal here to match the bronze they won in London.
Perks, thank you very much. And of course, our website has full coverage of everything that is going on in Rio. Let's have a very quick look at the medal table and how it stands. China at the top with 4 goals, followed by the USA. Team GB are in 10th place. Just out of the top 10 are host nation Brazil, who picked up their first gold tonight. BBC News has obtained exclusive photographs which confirm that British special forces are operating on the ground inside Syria. They've been alongside moderate rebels of the new Syrian army in the battle against so-called Islamic State just across the border with Jordan and Iraq. The rebels are based at the Al Tanaf base. The BBC's obscured the faces of the special forces to protect their identities. And this report from our Middle East correspondent Quentin Somerville contains flashing images.
This is the first glimpse of Britain's secretive ground war inside Syria. British special forces helping to defend a Syrian rebel base from the so-called Islamic State. They're a small but lethal force, only a dozen men. The threat here is grave. They've come laden with weaponry to fight their way out of any trouble. These exclusive pictures obtained by the BBC are from June, immediately after an IS attack killed around 9 of the moderate Syrian rebels at this base. An IS suicide attack on Al Tanaf just yesterday. It once belonged to IS militants, and they're determined to take it back. But the new Syrian army again fought them off. Their spokesman, who doesn't want to be identified, won't comment on the pictures of British special forces, but he does acknowledge their help.
We are receiving special forces training from British and American partners. We are also getting weapons and equipment from the Pentagon, as well as complete air support.
And here's that air support in action. An American fighter taking out another IS car bomb at Al Tanaf. On more than one occasion, British special forces have crossed the border here in Jordan, a bit further east of here, into Syria to help the new Syrian army. Few groups have received such up-close and personal support from Britain and from America. Now, that closeness has led to ridicule from the Islamic State, and there have been setbacks on the battlefield, but still this small band of fighters continues to endure and continues to receive intensive support from the West. After viewing these pictures, the Ministry of Defence said it wouldn't comment on special forces operations. Generally, conventional troops need parliamentary approval to be deployed. That doesn't apply to special forces. The numbers may be small, but on the front lines in the fight against the Islamic State, they're making a difference. Quentin Somerville, BBC News, on the Jordan-Syria border.
At least 70 people have been killed in a suicide bombing at a hospital in Pakistan. More than 100 people were wounded in the explosion in the city of Quetta. Many of the victims were lawyers and journalists. It's unclear who carried out the attack. A faction of the Pakistani Taliban and the so-called Islamic State have both said they were responsible. The Labour leadership contest has taken a new twist after a High Court ruling which could give tens of thousands of new members the right to vote in it. A judge found in favour of 5 new members who'd accused Labour's National Executive Committee of excluding them from voting in the contest. The ruling is thought to be likely to benefit Jeremy Corbyn. The Labour Party says it will appeal against it. Our political correspondent Alex Forsyth reports.
They queue in droves to see him. As he campaigns across the country, the momentum behind Jeremy Corbyn is clear. And today, while campaigning in Bristol, another boost for his bid to keep his job. The High Court's ruled thousands of new Labour members can vote for the party's next leader. It's not clear, but most are thought to back this man, who's pleased with the outcome.
From the judgment that was given today, the judge seemed very clear that his decision was that all members of the party should have a right to vote in the leadership contest. Surely that has to be the right decision.
Labour's ruling committee had said those who joined the party after January the 12th wouldn't get a vote unless they paid £25 to register as a supporter. That affected almost 127,000 people, about a quarter of the current membership. Now the court said the new joiners can automatically vote. Like Christine Evangelou, one of 5 people who took the case to court, she joined Labour in June because of its current leader.
He's very inspiring, and you know that what he says, he's going to actually deliver on it as well.
So how do you feel that you can now vote for him, and so can those others?
Happy, so happy, really, really happy, because that's what we all joined up for.
But the challenger's still upbeat, convinced he has support and calling for a longer contest to prove it.
Labour wants to be a mass movement. At our best, we're always a mass movement. So
We should be nothing other than pleased that there are so many people taking part in what is an incredible democratic exercise. I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing.
The fact a court has had to rule on an internal matter is a sign of just how troubled Labour is. The party's National Executive Committee says it will appeal. The party leader's allies have condemned that as a waste of money. If the ruling stands, it's likely it will bolster Jeremy Corbyn's chance of victory, and that would only deepen divisions. For all of his support, many MPs feel Labour's unelectable under his leadership. Some fear this contest could cause a split. There's tough times ahead for the party. Alex Forsyth, BBC News.
The BBC has seen a leaked copy of a highly critical report about a £400 million government scheme to help troubled families. It was introduced by David Cameron in response to the 2011 riots and looting in England. But Newsnight has seen an independent report which says it's had no discernible impact on unemployment, truancy or criminality. The government says a final report has yet to be completed. Thousands of rail commuters suffered major disruption today at the beginning of a 5-day strike by Southern, which runs services between London and Sussex and Surrey. The operator Govia Thameslink is embroiled in a row with the RMT union over plans to remove conductors from trains. Dan Johnson has this report.
Monday morning, commuter misery.
Right way down the aisles inside the train, please.
It's nothing new, especially on Southern.
I mean, I've been doing this for nearly, 20 years, and this is the worst it's ever been.
They're cancelled and delayed every single day. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe they'll run, maybe they won't run. Maybe I'll get to see my kids before they go to bed tonight, maybe I won't. And it's all down to people who are, at best, incompetent.
Train's ready to leave now, stand clear, please. Stand clear of the doors.
Well, this is what the dispute's all about. Who should close the doors? Southern wants the drivers to do it so the guards can focus on passengers. But the guards' union worries that will mean a cut in wages or jobs. Their main concern, though, is safety. There were similar strikes on ScotRail trains that ended with agreement guards would be kept. Even though Southern and other companies do run some trains without them, they say this is about changing their priorities.
We want to make a change to improve services to customers, to get staff on board, to be able to better look after our customers and to give them better service. And the RMT are finding that very hard to accept.
Last month, Southern cut 350 trains from its timetable because of persistent problems. Today they reckon 60% of normal services have run. But outside Victoria Station, passengers' frustration was voiced on the picket line.
There's people losing their jobs and getting disciplined at work because they can't get into work on time.
Yes. RMT has been doing everything it possibly can to minimise the inconvenience on customers. We have to endure lies being told by the company and misinformation.
5-day strike, that's not minimum disruption.
No, they've had to endure a horrendous service provided by this train company.
Commuters trudged home through more uncertainty. 4 more days of this and other strikes could follow. This is not a happy railway. Dan Johnson, BBC News at London Victoria Station.
His father was treated by many in Japan as a living god, but now Emperor Akihito has done what would have been unthinkable just a generation ago, addressed the nation hinting that he'd like to retire. But the 82-year-old who's been treated for cancer did not explicitly say he wanted to abdicate because Japanese law won't allow it. Our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes reports from Tokyo.
Never before has a Japanese emperor gone on television like this to make a direct plea to his people.
In coping with the aging of the emperor, I think it is not possible to continue reducing perpetually the emperor's acts in matters of state.
The language is vague, but the message is clear. The 82-year-old emperor wants to step down. The trouble is, there is no way for him to do so.
Of peace, but as warrior god, as both priest and emperor.
Akihito's father, Emperor Hirohito, was the last to be treated as a god here in Japan. After World War II, he was forced to declare himself a human being. But Japan's right wing has never accepted that being emperor is merely a job. And so when Akihito ascended the chrysanthemum throne, there was no provision for him to ever retire.
Unlike other monarchs, Emperor Akihito is not allowed to say that he wants to abdicate or to demand a change in the law. Instead, he has appealed directly to the Japanese people, telling them, "I'm getting older and weaker, and I cannot go on forever."
Outside the palace today, there was widespread sympathy for the emperor.
If the emperor needs to abdicate, then we feel His Majesty should be respected.
I'm sure we all consent. We all feel he's loved by the Japanese people.
But some here say the 82-year-old monarch may have a larger objective in wanting the law to be changed.
He's well aware that once they get to revising the imperial household law, if they do, that there will be people calling for the ability for women to succeed the emperor.
Emperor Akihito's son has just one child, Princess Aiko. Does her grandfather hope that one day she will ascend the chrysanthemum throne? Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, BBC News in Tokyo.
News Night's coming up shortly on BBC Two, but now here on BBC One, it's time for the news wherever you are. Good night.